Welcome back to Teshkid FX for another price prediction update, and in this video I'll be giving you a price prediction update on Polygon Matic, whose current price stands at the $1.2131 mark, and here on TradingView the market is up by 3.8%. and in this video I want to give you the key scenarios that I expect to play out, basing my analysis on the Elliot wave structures, the Fibonacci's, the key areas of support and resistances, and also draw out any key chart patterns that you have information on this chart. And I'll kickstart the video by giving a brief of what has been happening on this chart. Polygon Matic from the all-time high has been seeing lower prices in this massive ABC corrective movement, which has now taken us back to around the $0.32 mark, and having done so, I believe it has done the minimum that we expected it to do in its ABC corrective movement, and very soon we are going to see a very nice bounce to the upper side, obeying this Elliot wave structure, having a wave 5 taking us to an all-time high in the next bull market. And before we get to an all-time high, we first need to see a first wave to the upper side, and I believe we have seen that movement in the breakout that we saw yesterday. And getting to the 4-hour chart for further analysis on that movement to the upper side, in that movement to the upper side, in the formation of that first wave to the upper side, also expected to see a fractal wave information within that first wave over here. And here on the 4-hour chart we are seeing such a structure to the upper side, having this Elliot wave structure as a fractal wave within that first wave to the upper side, where we have completed the formation of that movement to the upper side in the formation of a wave 5 to complete that higher Elliot wave count 1, and getting a little bit into the details of the formation of this Elliot wave structure so that it can give us the next movement that we expect to play out here on the Polygon Matic chart. After making our low down there, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side, making our high for that first wave, then retraced to the lower side in the formation of a second wave, then saw a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of a wave 3, making our peak at around the $1.05 mark. And after seeing that peak, we saw a very nice retracement over here in the formation of a fourth wave. And because the wave 4 is a retracement of the third wave, we can use the Fibonacci's, connecting them from the low of that second wave to the high of that wave 3 to give us a minimum retracement area to the lower side between the Fib level 0.382 and the Fib level 0.618, and I can mark that target area here on the charts like that, which lies between the $0.81 mark and the $0.66 mark. And you can see we retraced into that target area in the formation of a fourth wave, making our low at around the $0.69 mark. And because a fourth wave is a corrective wave, I also expected to see an ABC corrective movement play out over here, and we are seeing such a structure right here in the formation of an ABC corrective movement, having that as the wave A, then a wave B, making our peak at around the $0.94 mark. Then we continued pushing lower in the formation of a wave C, making our low at around the $0.69 mark. And after making that low, we have been seeing a very nice bounce to the upper side, which has been obeying the Elliot wave structures in the formation of this fifth wave to the upper side. And since the fifth wave to the upper side is an impulsive wave, we also expected to see fractal waves in formation within that fifth wave to the upper side. And before I get to the key scenarios that I expect to play out basing it on the Elliot wave structures, it's good that I show you the key chart patterns that we have information right here in the formation of this fourth wave right here. And within this fourth wave, we had been trading within a channel, and we managed to break out of the channel to the upper side, and that is after finding support at around the $0.78 mark, which is the area right here. We found a very nice bounce to the upper side, managing to break out of the channel to the upper side. And after breaking out of the channel, we saw a retest of that upper side of the channel, and after the retest was in, we continued pushing higher, making our peak at around the $0.96 mark. And the reason as to why we could not be able to push above the $0.96 mark is because at around the $0.95 mark we have a key area of resistance which gave us the resistance, and that's why we have a bit of some wicks over there. And in that movement to the upper side, we also saw the formation of another key chart pattern, which is a double top. And if I draw it out, we can have this impulsive movement making the first top at around the $0.95 mark, then saw a bit of a pullback, then continued pushing higher, making the second top. Then we saw a breakout out of this chart pattern to the the lower side, and this is a chart pattern that normally breaks to the lower side, having the target area of that breakout as the height between the tops and the neckline. So using a trend line, we can get that height and then place it down here to give us a minimum target area to the lower side back to around the $0.83 mark. And you can see we saw that breakout to the lower side, retracing back to around the $0.8398 mark. And after making that low, we are seeing a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of these wave 5 to the upper side. That is basing it on the Elliot wave structures. And getting back to the key scenarios that are expected to play out over here, basing my analysis on the Elliot wave structures, after making our low down there in the formation of a fourth wave at around the $0.96 mark, we have been seeing a very nice bounce to the upper side in a movement that has been obeying the Elliot wave structures, having that as the first wave to the upper side, then retrace to the lower side in the formation of a second wave, then saw this impulsive movement in the formation of a wave 3, making our peak at around the $0.96 mark. Then we retraced over here in the formation of a fourth wave, then saw a very nice impulsive movement to the upper side in the formation of a wave 5. And getting a little bit into the details of the formation of this fractal wave right here to give us the key scenarios that we expect next. After seeing the high of that first wave and a retracement to the lower side in the formation of a wave 2, we expected a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of a wave 3. And using the trend based Fibonacci, connecting it from the low of this wave 1 down there to the high of that wave 1, then dragging the fibs to the low of the second wave, that gives me a minimum target area to the upper side in the formation of a second wave back to around the $0.995 mark, and that is at around the fib level 1.618. and you can see we made our peak at around the $0.96 mark, meaning we have a $0.3 difference between the high that we have sketched out basing it on the trend based Fibonacci and the high that we have in the formation of this wave 3, and that means there are high chances that that was the high of that wave 3, and whatever we saw next over here in the formation of in this pullback right here was a movement to the lower side in the formation of a fourth wave. And using the Fibonacci's, connecting them from the low of that wave 2 to the high of that wave 2 to get a minimum retracement area to the lower side in the formation of a fourth wave between the fib level 0.382 and the fib level 0.5, I can mark that target area as the minimum target area to the lower side in the formation of a wave 4, and you can see we retraced into that target area, and within that target area we also had an invalidation point for this Elliot wave structure to the upper side, and that was at around the $0.85 mark. But you can see here we retraced into that invalidation point, and in that movement we made some wicks into that invalidation point, but that did not fully invalidate my Elliot wave structure, because you can see after that we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of a wave 5, which has been so impulsive and has made its peak at around the $1.3 mark. And if I zoom in on this chart, I can give you a minimum target area to the upper side in the formation of these higher Elliot wave count 1 to the upper side, so that we can see whether this wave 5 to the upper side has come to a complete. And I just need to use the trend based Fibonacci, connecting it from the low of that first wave to the high of the wave 1, then dragging the fibs to the high of the wave 3, and that gives me a minimum target area to the upper side at the fib level 0.618, and that is at around the $1.25 mark. And you can see the peak that we have over here in the formation of that fifth wave to the upper side is at around the $1.3 mark, meaning there are chances that the high is in the formation of that first wave to the upper side, and we have completed that movement to the upper side in that higher Elliot wave count 1. And whatever I'm expecting next is the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2, so that is the next possible scenario that I'm expecting here to play out on the Polygon Matic chart. And using the Fibonacci's, we can sketch out a minimum target area to the lower side in the formation of this Elliot wave count 2 over here, and once it plays out, then I would expect an impulsive movement to the upper side in the formation of a wave 3. And using the Fibonacci's, connecting them from the low of this first wave to the high of that higher Elliot wave count 1 at around the $1.3 mark, that gives me a minimum retracement area to the lower side in the formation of a second, that is a higher Elliot wave count 2 between the fib level 0.382 and the fib level 0.5 5, and that lies between the $0.93 mark and the $0.81 mark. So that is the minimum that I'm expecting that second wave to the lower side to do, and that gives me the key scenarios that I expect to play out over here. I'm expecting a very nice reversal over here in the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2 here on the Polygon Matic chart. So let's be prepared for that. And for those that maybe we are able to catch that movement to the upper side, I think it's time for you to take your profits, and that's not financial advice, because very soon we are going to see this retracement area, and that would be so nice, because for those that didn't manage to get that movement to the upper side, that would be another chance to dollar cost average in once more on Polygon Matic chart before we expect a very nice bounce to the upper side in the formation of this higher Elliot wave count 3. Also taking a look at the indicators to see what movements will be supported. Here on the RSI we are trading at around the 85 mark, meaning we don't have room for us to support any further movements to the upper side because we have gotten into the overbought region, and that means lower prices are coming our way. Also taking a look at the MACD. Here on the MACD we had printed a bullish cross, and that means higher prices are coming our way, but from what we are seeing from the 4 RSI, there are chances that lower prices are coming our way, and that could be the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2. So let's be patient and see how that plays out, and I'll keep you updated.